Hello, my beautiful loves. How are you doing tonight? Tonight? Yes, this evening. I guess depending on where you are watching this from in the world, because I'm sure we're international by now. And the internet, like everything's international. Hey guys, welcome to See Like Sheba. I want to I'll figure it out. Uh, like some sort of a tagline, like that, like flows into this that says "See Like Sheba." Anywho, welcome. How you doing? It's day 4 of the daily devotional. My extended period of time where I'm going to go on every day. It's been going so well. Um, and yeah, what was today? Today is Friday. Love that. Love that even in the Matrix, this is a day where people kind of chill and relax a little bit. I had therapy this morning, which I love. I have a really amazing therapist, and she's like decolonized, and she just like really like lives kind of in a way that's really aligned with, I don't know, the like world I'm trying to create. I think, my audience is trying to create. If you're here, if you found this video, she's great. You'll love her. She's really cool. She is like currently in like Mexico, but she, like, when I first met her, I think she was in like South Africa, and she was in Vietnam for a little bit, and like some Balkan country, and I love it. She's married and has kids, and her kids are almost all grown now. Um and she's just like, I don't know, really like living her practice. Her and her husband, like, they created this like parents circle to discuss sinners, and like she just created like a women's circle um with uh mothers, I think. Is what she said too. And I think that's great. I think, ladies, we need to talk more. We need to share our stories more. We need to share our perspectives more. And so, yeah, hope I can give you permission to just like say it, do whatever you want. And if I can't give it to you, I hope watching Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Netanyahu and Biden and all of these crazy white men in power doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want. um, it's like we might not be here for much longer. Like they're so won't you be mad if like the dumbest men in history like nuclear holocaust us all, and you didn't say the thing that, if you die prematurely, you're going to be like, crap, no one knew this thing about me. Dang. But it won't really matter because no one will be here. But no, I know whatever happens after this human life, you're going to be mad that you didn't speak in this one. I'm just saying. And I get it. It's different. It's the first time in probably history that, I say this all the time, that Black people, but also women, have been able to share their inner workings like publicly. And so, we see the men like not responding well to it. We see the white people not responding well to it. But that's okay. And yeah, so one of the things my therapist was mentioning was like, she was like, I kind of have to, I should talk and share my story and self and perspective with, like the younger generation, the children growing up, the women, the young girls, the young queens growing up, because she was saying like, like, I'm so accomplished and beautiful, and I have this amazing husband, and I don't have kids. And so, yeah, my therapist, I think, has like 4 kids, and she was like, she doesn't recommend it. she had kids young, and I think it's just like we haven't set up our societies for it to be a like fulfilling experience for women, and it just demands that you sacrifice so much. And anyway, let me bring this. I'm gonna like talk about this for many videos because it's such an important topic. So I'm gonna change the name of this. I'm still playing around with the name. Um, but yeah, let me like kind of start with one of my perspectives on having kids as a Black woman. I do not have kids at the moment, human children. I don't, even though I am just like so fecund and full of creative potential. Um, but yeah, I've got a lot of other things that I want to create first. Um, but people see me and Billy, and they're like, oh my gosh, when are you guys gonna have kids? And I think that's just something that we're taught to uh, ask when we see like a married couple or just a woman of a certain age. um, and yeah, what was I gonna say? Dang it. Kids. They ask if we want to have kids, and yeah, actually, Asma also, who's in my Palestinian family, she asked me also. She's like, "Do you have like fertility issues or what? Like, why don't you have kids?" And she was like, she said it in a much more like, she was like, "I don't want to be rude, but it's hard to translate things." But also, I think she's curious, um, and yeah, I was just like, no, I don't know. I think they tell us, like they tell you from a young age as women, like, your biological clock is going to start ticking and you only have a certain amount of time and you don't want to wait till you're old and you don't want to wait. And like, I think it's all to like pressure us to um do like use our creative powers earlier, too early before we've like fully cooked, before we fully like come into our power. It's already having us like divert a huge amount of it to this practice that we've like made really oppressive and like difficult and unfulfilling for both mother and child. So but yeah, so okay, I might have said this before, but I'm going to say it again. The phrase knocked up, it's means a woman is pregnant, or has been made pregnant, knocked up. It's a movie with Seth Rogen, who I'm pretty sure is an anti-Zionist Jew, which I love that for us. I did not like that movie because I'm like, okay, so this babe with this like great job and career, and I think like lives at home with her sister, decides to have the child of a one night stand man who she like doesn't like and is like embarrassed by. That's just very unrealistic, and that is propaganda, and I don't like that was such a popular movie. I don't like that premise. I never like that premise. Like it's always like unrealistic, um but yeah, okay, so oh, so I was thinking, knocked up. I read that phrase came from slavery times, when you were like, when like they were selling Africans, kidnapped African people. They would, and you had like a pregnant slave. So like back then, like any child born to an enslaved woman was automatically a slave. So if you were, if a pregnant woman was being sold, um, you you would say you could knock up the price because you have the value of the labor of the pregnant woman and of her child, future child, who will now be a slave. So it's like literally two, free slaves for the price of one lifetime, free labor for the price of one. And like the terrible white men who created our settler colony of a country, they reason like that. They think like, yes, these people are not humans. They are separate from us, and thus, they're only useful. Their bodies are only useful to provide labor and profit from that labor. So they can be very psychopathic about it and sell, a pregnant woman and be like, this is a great deal. Knocked up the price. Okay. So if we take that and then we consider that when slavery ended with the Emancipation Proclamation, insurance companies paid the slave owners for loss of their property, right? And none of the people who owned slaves or who did all the segregation stuff afterwards were arrested. They weren't doing anything illegal, and also the legal system is made up by a bunch of terrible, racist, tax evading human traffickers. So terrible baseline. But so okay, all of those terrible men who made all the laws and all of the practices that we are still for some reason upholding today, those men, were allowed to keep their positions and their power and their money, and they had children, and they passed on their wealth and their wisdom, their knowledge, and their practices and their values onto their children, and their children took up all of these took their ill-begotten slave owning money, and so on and so forth until today, when the descendants of those slave owners are still owning everything and everyone. So anyway, all this to say, the same value system that came from the people who said knocked up is still here, is still those people who have those same values, they're still in power. So presumably that value system is still in place. So these white men want you to have children so that they can have laborers to exploit, so that they can continue their slave owning, plantation empires. And what does Billy say? Notice Elon tweets weekly about his worry about repopulating. Him and Trump are trying to set the conditions for women to have more babies. Yes, of course. And also, the Democrats too. All of the white people in power have been trying to do that. Because if they wanted women to have control over their reproductive functions, we would have it. It would be codified into a law. It would be a whole thing. But, they've got to trick you guys into voting for Democrats by dangling the idea that they would protect abortion over you. But I love it. Not there anymore. Actually, this is cotton root bark, which is what enslaved women used to use as a natural abortifacient and birth control. They would chew on it or make a tea out of it. So all that to say, it's just, all these white people always been trying to make us have babies, and now they've just created elaborate mental frameworks and reinforced it in all these different systems and media and storytelling, all these things to reinforce what they want, which is, yes, They want women to have as many children as their bodies physically can. They want women to not be able to afford to raise them. They want to make raising these children be increasingly more expensive so that they can trap the women in wage slavery and then trap their child in wage slavery too. It's, I don't want to give them credit, but it's you know, it's successful. It's been successful. Like, say what you want about Elon and Trump. Um, they're trying to set the conditions for women to have more babies. They've done it. They've done it. It's been set, and we already have this all of this propaganda about like women. That's like your purpose. That's the natural thing. But like, yeah, these men, these white men, they want laborers, they want wage slaves, and men want domestic servants. So they want to be the little king of their fiefdom. They want to be the little dictator of their dictatorship. And so, yeah, like they want women to create children that then women have to kind of spend all of their resources trying to raise this child, and the men get to go off and do whatever they want, like Elon Musk. And yeah, it's like, Elon Musk is always he's trying to have all these children, all these different women, and it like, why would you want to do the thing that like the dumbest men in the world want you to do? Oh, and the conditions they set is not like childbearing support, leave, etc. Yeah, exactly. No, it's removing abortion. Exactly. Like that's why I'm like, they don't care about your children or you. They actually hate you and only value you for your like willingness to produce profit for them, to labor and produce profit for them. So like, yeah, exactly. Like we are the only developed whatever like country, because like, yeah, are we a first world country? I don't know about that, but we don't have paid maternity leave. Even like in the government, I feel like they have more generous leave packages than private sector, and it's still like, I feel so bad for the women who have children who work with me, because not only like your leave is not just for you now, like your sick leave is not just for you, it's also for caring for your children. It's also for if your children are sick or have a doctor's appointment or just home from school. And so they like don't have any time off and they have to work all the time. And it's just very sad and unfair. And I feel so sad for humanity too, because like, just think of all of the human knowledge and the human evolution and advancement that has been lost because women were forced to become wives and mothers and have children until their bodies gave out. What's another thing that like maybe like is like really crazy and I have to sit more on is how like me and Billy, we the birth control method we use is the pull-out method. Like just chooses not to come inside of me. And that's something he's like always done. Like he's been someone who's been very afraid of getting someone pregnant, as I have been very afraid of becoming impregnated. So we both are like, like all of our lives, all we've trained to do is not have children. So it's just like very easy to continue to not do that. It's like, I've trained for this. I know exactly what to do. And so I think they try to like make women feel like, oh, it's such a hard decision when you get pregnant. No, it's not. I had an abortion in like, what was it? Maybe 20, I don't even know, man. 20, oh, whoa, was that like 2012? Dang, sheeps. I love it. So beautiful. Time flies and you just like could never tell. Just a timeless beauty, always. Um, but yeah, back in 2012 with my first boyfriend. So I did not know my value back then, but I absolutely knew that I did not want to co-parent with this man. First of all, when I was getting the abortion, it was going to be like, I don't know, maybe $200, maybe $400. It wasn't very expensive, but for me it was expensive at the time because I was a law student. Um, and you know what? My ex didn't have any money to contribute to it. And like one of my friends was like, he didn't have like $20. And I was like, damn, that's so true. How unkind, how unloving that like he was going to either like, have me figure it out. Like if I didn't have the money, were we just gonna have a child for 18 years? So it was like it was like a very easy, clear decision that I had trained for my entire life. And so it was like not only easy, it was like very like affirming. I felt very like adult. And I was like, oh, yes, I know exactly that I do not want to have a child. And so I'm so like glad and grateful that I can take care of this and move on with my life. Wiser and with a greater sense of love and care for myself and my future progeny. I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine if I had to like give a kid 50% of the DNA of like my well-meaning but like goofy firstborn. Yeah. What was I saying? Okay. Kids don't have them. Yeah, it's just like kind of not loving. Oh, and so that's another thing. Like I'm like very in touch with my body, certainly these days. And like I'm good at speaking to it and communicating with it. And, you know, like in the same way that like, my gut biomes and my like nerves and like I don't know, the like bacteria in my skin and stuff or whatever. Um, all of it is like working together to like keep me alive and healthy, like fighting infections and stuff and digesting nutrients and things. And it's all working for my benefit. Um, so I think the same way as my eggs, my children up in my ovaries who have been with me since I was in my mother's ovaries. Ugh, so cool. Um, but yeah, I think of it like I think my eggs are also wanting me to succeed. They're working for my benefit. They are doing their thing to keep me alive. And I feel like I know we're taught like, there's a biological clock and sometimes people are like, oh, when you see Billy like with, kids, because he's so great with kids. He's so great with vulnerable populations, like women and queer people and children and animals. Um, they're like, oh, do your like ovaries like ache when he's, with kids? I'm like, ew, no, gross. I'm like, oh, no. I'm like excited for when we get to go home, and not have to uh, be play like parent and like play like this person, responsible adult. Like I'm already a responsible adult. I don't like that we have to like perform being normal for kids either. But also, okay, so my eggs, my children and my ovaries, I feel like if they really wanted to be brought into this reality, if they wanted me to bring them into this world, I would know it. They would tell me. But I feel like they're like, no, mom, you got it. You got it, mama. I would like you to do something about all of the pedophiles that are in power first. Maybe do something about that before you bring us into a world where pedophiles are in power, right? And so like that's how I feel. I'm like, no, I think they're good. Like, my children certainly deserve a better world than this. And, no one seems very concerned about making it a significantly better world than it is. So like, okay, great. My kids are fine. They're good. They want to stay home and play video games and watch TV. They don't want to come. They're like, you got it, mom. You handle that. I'm like, okay, I will. 26 minutes already. See, yeah, I knew. I was like, let me not even get like too into it because like there's so much. But yeah, like these white men want you guys to have kids. And so just if you have not had children yet, I know it's really hard for if you're a woman. Like we're taught all of these things, like you're not fully a woman, you're not fulfilling your purpose, God is mad at you, your parents will be mad at you. Like literally none of that is real. That reminds me, fuck Israel, that fake terrorist state. And free Palestine. And ooh, the flotilla is about to get there. And yeah, there just needs to be a bunch of different flotillas going. They can't us all. So anyway, there's also like people from Tunisia. They're going on land, and then there's another one where people are just like walking, because that's like what we're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to like take matters into our own hands. And yeah, I just see I think we're taught too that like we kind of hide behind our children. We use them as human shields to absolve us from teaching our children about what is going on in the world, what our government and citizens are doing to other children in other parts of the world. I think we like keep our children in the dark and really hobble them, and they're gonna be super mad at us. And look how loving I'm being by saying us and whatnot, even though the kids are gonna be looking to me. They're gonna be like, ooh, how do we get to be like that bitch? She's so cool and so free and so loved. Wow. And she's like so rich and beautiful. So how do we get to do that? And I'm gonna be like, don't have kids. Don't have kids. And fuck Israel. Don't be a Zionist. Don't have kids. Those are words to live by. If you do only those two things in life, you will get so far. And I think the world will be a much better place if you focus on that. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. I've really been trying to look at the camera directly because I think there's just something about energetic about doing it this way. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on. Do you have kids? Do you not? Are you like ambivalent? Are you afraid one way or the other? Let me know. And I think we're probably going to talk about this tomorrow again. Ah, I love it. Okay, bring your forehead up to the screen. I love you. I think you're amazing. And this is all made up. So, question everything, particularly things that are about like creating another human and like dramatically transforming your vessel in the process of creating another human. When we live in this world that, runs on the blood of children, the blood and labor of children and their impoverished parents. All right. That was a longer, this is all made up, but this is all made up. So, and I love you guys. And I think you see, right? Like Sheba. We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel. And I'll see you tomorrow.